Two mugs in a workshop.
In the previous episode, we buy a BMW G310R motorcycle, prove it starts, change out the engine management control unit, and still ended up with a whole bunch of problems.
Oh no, he's broke it!
Yeah, proper. I think it looks better without the covers on, actually.
Just arrived in the workshop this morning and it looks like Marc's decided exactly what my motorbike's fit for. Have a look in the background. He's parked it in the bin. MOT day. Let's see what happens. Wow, I've been doing quite a bit of faffing about trying to work out what the mileage on the vehicle is. Unfortunately, the ISTA software, the BMW stuff, just says mileage 1. But I managed to do a bit of lower level digging, and I think I found the highlighted section in black there. 7.867 to the power 3, whatever it is, kilometres. By my reckoning, that is going to equate to about 4,800 miles or so. So I'm happy with that, and that seems in character with some of the digging that I did on the purchase sale of the bike. So the signs are good that this ECU, it was definitely the original ECU, and it doesn't look like it's been messed about with either. So that to me looks like a very reasonable and honest mileage too. Right, and guys, I got the bike now on a different laptop. Weirdly, I have two laptops in the workshop. I have one with a version of software that I trust, which is a little bit older, and then I've got the newer stuff on there as well. This is for the cars I'm talking about. Remember, I know nothing about the bikes at the moment, but I thought, you know what? I think we'll put the latest version of software on this bike. There have been a few reported software issues that trouble these things. So knowing that we haven't got too many miles on the clock and that it should program in, I'm just going to give it a go. So I've switched laptops. You can see now that we're plugged in via a network cable from the ICOM unit up to the laptop, which is up on the workstation. And I've already run the software update like to calculate what versions of software. And you can actually see at the top of the screen, the top level here tells us what version of software the bike was on. So it's 2021-03 is March, and then 501 is just a serial number. So the bike was actually on fairly recent software, which is a good sign that, you know, it's been to dealer at some point. I very much doubt somebody did this in their garage. And we're going to be upgrading it to 2022-11 software. So it's not the latest. But for this bike, bearing in mind it's 2017, it'll be more than enough. And the side effect of running the software update is, if it's anything like the cars anyway, is that it should program in the combi, because if you remember when we turned this on before, it said no coding on the instrument cluster, which we call the combi. You see that we're about to go with the software update. At the bottom, there's a little button called Display Measures Plan, and that tells us basically what is going to happen during the software update. So it's actually going to upgrade the software on the ABS unit, upgrade the software on the engine management unit, and it's going to code in the combi, which is exactly what we want it to do. We could do that manually, it's really easy to do, but as the software update will do it for us anyway, we're going to let it roll. Then writes the eye level and vehicle order, means it updates the version of software on the bike, so the next tech knows exactly what software is on there. And the vehicle order is sort of the options on the vehicle, what the vehicle's built with. At the very end, it's going to do a few calculations, calibrations, maybe on the gearbox. That'll be a voyage of discovery. Let's hope we can select the gear afterwards. And teaching the throttle valve sensor, which again could be a problem with that, the RPM not revving out. So all you do now, seriously, is hit a button, guys, and you just sit and wait. So execute the plan at the bottom, and off it goes. I'll come back later when it's finished. With a bit of luck, I'm going for coffee, which is the best thing. That's all the mugs in the workshop ever do around there. And I'll come back to you all later once it's finished. Update's now running, so you can see the little ticks there. It's only going a couple of minutes actually, a lot faster than the cars, a lot simpler, the control units. So it's already programmed and coded everything. So, I mean, this thing's going to be finished in about 3, 4, 5 minutes flat. So software update finished. It's fairly good news, to be honest. Most of the errors are gone. I've still got a problem though with the combi not showing the mileage, which I'm a bit surprised about, if I'm being honest with you. The transmission position sensor on, there was a calibration routine I ran at the end, so I'm hoping once I can get the bike outside and give it a ride around the yard, that one will disappear. So going back to, you can see now the ABS unit's happy, it's gone green. The other two have still got some slight faults in there, but we're looking a lot better. So next bit of the video, we're going to fire up the bike. The big question is, will it actually fire up and will we get some RPM? So let's see what happens then. Turn ignition on. Yeah, you can see that immediately the no coding message disappeared. The ABS flashing's normal on this bike. That flashes until the engine's actually running and you're pulling away. In terms of the odometer, nearly there, there's quite a few of these. Okay, that's bad news. So it's still saying that there's 0 miles on the clock. It should be about 4,800. We'll come back to that. We might be able to fix that later on, but so far so good. So now the software update and the combi's coded. We're going to try and fire it up and see if the thing will run past 4,000 to 5,000 RPM. So let's see what happens. It's all good. So we resolved the revving issue, so we've just got to try and sort the mileage out. Not quite sure what we're going to do there yet, but we might need to get the other laptop back on with that low level piece of software so that we can have a look whether we can write the mileage that matches that in the ECU over into the combi as well. But I am surprised that ISTA didn't sort that out with the software update, but we'll take it from there and see how we go.
Oil service or something.
Aye.
From the dash.
Something going on in the office there. Right guys, I've moved into the office where it's a bit warmer. It's freezing outside. It's sort of end of January in the UK. It's really cold. So yeah, we're going to try and sort out the mileage reading on the bike. So I've moved in the warmer. I've got the laptop on the Wi-Fi. So here's the reminder. As we had in the last video, we've got the combi and the DME with some errors in there. Nothing more than that. The ABS unit is really happy. The faults are the transmission positions, and so I'm not worrying about that. That's going to disappear, I think, as we ride the bike around outside. And the odometer reading discrepancy, which we know all about. So it's this one that we are going to try and resolve. So again, this doesn't aim to be a tutorial, none of this. There's plenty of information on there about how to use things like Tool 32 on the BMW software. But you can see that the kilometre reading, this is on the DME, so the engine ECU, is reading 7.867 to the power of 3. So by my calculation, that is actually 7,867 kilometres, which in miles, because we're in the UK, is about 4,800 miles or so. So we need to get that into the combi. So I think it's going to be a case of finding another job in Tool 32 that'll allow us to write the mileage across. Right, so I found a similar job in the combi, and bit of messing about really. I've discovered a way of writing the mileage back, and I've just changed it to 2. Okay, there you can see 2, whereas before on the bike it was flashing 0. So 2 must be the equivalent of 1 is what I'm guessing. So I'm going to go out to the bike and I'm going to see what it's actually saying on the bike combi. So you can see on the bike now it's actually flashing 1 mile. It's still incorrect, but at least we've shown before we go writing anything crazy in there that we can actually change that value moving upwards. So the next step will be to alter that mileage so that it matches the value that's stored in the engine control unit. Okay, so as per the previous video, God, I hope this works because there's going to be an expensive mistake if it doesn't. Mileage is currently on 2, which is actually shows as 1 on the display. I'm gonna write this value in here. You can see 7.86. I've cut and pasted that to be safe, and I've checked and triple checked it all. And I'm gonna write that value, which corresponds to the engine management unit, over into the combi down here. So before further ado, let's just run the job. Says it's run okay. So the moment of truth, we can actually run another job to try and read those values back. And hopefully, if you keep watching that window there, when I run the next job, yes, brilliant. So we can see down here, we just read it back, and it's now got the same value as the engine control unit. So it's time to go back to the bike, see what's happening on there, and then we're going to have to come back to ISTA to see whether that mileage discrepancy error is still being reported or not. The bike in the workshop. Right, okay, so we just written those values into the combi, and great news, came through. And the mileage is now showing correctly, and you see how it's not flashing anymore as well. That must mean it's obviously now matching the ECU. We're going to have to go back to ISTA and try and clear the fault code out though, just to make sure that that goes away. So that'll be the next stage of the process. Okay, so back in the office. I've already cleared the codes because I don't want you guys sitting there while we're deleting fault codes. But yeah, just the transmission position sensor now. And I'm really not bothered about that because I'm pretty sure as I ride that around the yard, that's going to disappear. So, brilliant. I mean, I'm so happy. I can't believe that, not being a bike person really, and having bought this blindly. I didn't even go to view this vehicle. So with all that done, I'm just going to take the bike for a ride around the car park outside. Hoping that that clears down the transmission code. Once we've got that out of the way, I'll button all the fairings back up, and I mean, honestly, I'm so pleased that it was £1,000 motorbike off eBay, and we've come up trumps on it. 2.5, 3 hours, and that includes making all these videos. To be honest, I probably could have done that in like an hour. And bearing in mind, I'm not a bike guy, and that's the first time that I've touched a BMW motorbike and done diagnostic and programming work on it. We're all good, so, and again, I felt lucky that the bike hasn't done any exceptionally high mileage either. So, thanks for watching. Keep going. I'm going to get the bike out now without the fairings on around the yard. I'll get Marc to video that for a laugh if I can remember how to ride, and we'll go from there.
Right, this is the bike that Ian's just purchased off the old internet. Unfortunately, we got BMW here at the moment with a hire van.
Happy days. Works. Pleased with that, Marc.
The result?
2 hours?
Yeah, good.
Would have been if we hadn't done all these stupid videos in between. But yeah, now there you go. So I'm going to put it all back together again now and get it round for the MOT. So I've just dropped the bike off for the MOT at M&C behind. Our local guys up in Aldridge, really good bunch, recommend them. We've known Marc for years. So, well, it'll be done sometime before 3 o'clock. So let's see what happens. So we're here at Marc's Independent yet again, and time to introduce Marc's new eBay purchase, which he's been fettling for about a week now or so. So all yours, Marc, describe.
Rightio. So yeah, purchased it off eBay. Timing chain had gone on the vehicle, so I've put new genuine BMW parts on it. Yesterday, Roy at Roy Taylor's MOT'd the vehicle for me. So it's got 12 months ticket on. I put a bit of tax on it. I'll be running it around for a little while now, just to make sure that everything's okay. It's got a straight through exhaust system, rear diffuser on it. It's got the M1 front bumper, which I've had fitted and painted by a local body shop. It's got a few scuffs and that which I've got to deal with, but it's got red interior, electric seats. Everything seems to work as it should. I'll be getting the wheels refurbed, maybe looking at refurbing these ones or getting some Storm, preferably black bodywork with gold wheels. See what you think, and as I say, you can always give us some feedback and see what you think personally. Thank you.
Just to add to it, it's a 120D as well, so obviously had some money spent on it already. Marc's put the Dragon mirrors on it as well, but what really makes it, I think, is the inside. It's got a really nice, and it's original as well, it was spec like this from the factory. Nice red leather interior, and it's generally in good condition. Marc gave it a good vac out yesterday. Done a few miles, done about 165,000, but as Marc's told you, he's just done the timing chain on it. Rear of the vehicle, apart from the bit of trim on the seat, again nice and tidy. Oh, quickly removed, look, as if by magic. That removes. So yeah, so it's ongoing project. We're not really sure what to do with it. You can put in the comments section if you like what you think Marc should do with it. He's not good at keeping cars for very long, are you, Marc, really?
And don't say a can of fuel and burn it.
Yeah. An MOT test is a vehicle inspection carried out on UK vehicles every 12 months to determine if the vehicle is safe to be operated. It is illegal to video record an MOT in progress, so I'm talking you through the results instead. Our motorcycle was registered in April 2017, so when it was 3 years old in April 2020, it should have been due its first MOT. This did not happen, so we think the bike may have been stolen. In another episode, I'll explain what I found during the purchase, but for now, let's keep things brief. We failed the MOT. On what? A misaligned headlamp. M&C Motorcycles kindly adjusted the aim for us free of charge, and they retested the bike a bit later on in the day, so I'm really delighted to say that we passed. Just can't believe it. This has got to be the best value BMW bike in the country at this moment. There were two minor issues discovered. The front brake is slightly binding, we'll deal with this later, and the rear cush drive needs attention. Again, this will make another episode. Our bike ride's absolutely fantastic. We've got so many ideas for it, and we hope that you'll share yours in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and remember, there's always time for a mug or two.